In-N-Out Burger's coming, which is very exciting. Hey, Governor, how are you? Happy New Year.
Hey, Matt. That was a fun announcement yesterday, and kind of a big deal for Tennessee for a lot of reasons. And yeah, In-N-Out Burger's coming to Tennessee, and there's nowhere else in the eastern United States where they're coming.
Well, it's a bigger deal than just a restaurant opening, although every restaurant matters because that's economic activity and stimulus in the state. But I do want to ask you two things. One, have you ever had an In-N-Out Burger? And two, how did you make this happen?
Yeah, so the first question, have I ever had one? I'll tell you a really fascinating, kind of interesting story, I guess. I took my family on a mission trip 20 years ago probably, and it was with this organization that built houses for, impoverished families that were just poverty families in across the border in Mexico. And so I was on this mission trip, went to California, got ready, Southern California, got ready to go and over to the border. The organizer of the team said, okay, we're going to go, but before we go, we got to eat, and we got to go to In-N-Out Burger. So it's the first time I'd ever been there. We take all the team and, the kids that are doing this missions trip. And it was a great place to eat, but I remember actually looking at it, they had a little scripture on the bottom of the cup that, where I got my Coke. And I was like, wow, this is interesting. I wonder what kind of company this is. Wonder what the background is. And that was my introduction to In-N-Out. They are now a, iconic western half of the United States brand. They're certainly a very important family business, but a national company. And, their decision to come here is actually, it's a big deal.
Well, obviously, it's a big deal anytime that a company decides to put one of their national headquarters in the state of Tennessee, which is what is happening, right? The details are that they've decided to expand east of the Mississippi River. I think the closest that they've gotten so far is Texas, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's not only, hey, we're gonna build some In-N-Out Burger joints and we're gonna put them in Tennessee. We're bringing a headquarters, to Franklin? Is that correct, Governor?
Yeah, it'll be a $125 million investment, and they're calling it their corporate hub, 275 jobs. It is their Eastern United States, corporate plant. And it's really interesting. People know about this company, and certainly in the West, everyone knows about it, but in any state would love to have In-N-Out make the decision to come to their state. I can tell you there's not a state in the country that wouldn't wish they would come. But, I met them. I went out there and met with their team, which is their value system in their company, their commitment to customer service. They're just a very different brand. In fact, and they're a very different type of people. So I was talking to the CEO yesterday, and she actually said from the podium when we made the announcement, she loves Tennessee. When she comes here, she just feels hope. And that was a remarkable thing for a CEO of a company to say, and she attributed that feeling of hope to the reason why they put their business here.
For those not familiar, their business model, I'm trying to connect it to something that people in Tennessee would be familiar with. It's like Chick-fil-A, right? I mean, they are a religious family, a religious people, and they reflect those values in how they do their business. Is that a fair comparison?
Yeah, they are a burger shop instead of a chicken shop, but they started in 1948, and it's this family business that is still a closely held family business. The family still owns the business, even though it's a huge company now. And yeah, value system is a part of their delivery, but it's quality of food, it's customer service. It's a really interesting model that works well for Westerners, and now it's in the East.
Okay, so when are we getting our In-N-Out Burger, Governor?
And by the way, it's all good, but it's mostly jobs. It's going to be jobs for Tennessee. I mean, and we're going to open up a bunch of restaurants, and we're going to get what they call a double-double in their hand-cut fries and their shakes. And I can tell you, because I've had them, they're good.
Well, it's great news. I mean, all the news that we see about economic development in the state of Tennessee. I mean, we're kind of pushing against the tide nationwide. The trends nationwide don't look good from an economic perspective, sadly, because of certain leadership aspects of what's going on in Washington, D.C., as you well know. But, Tennessee kind of bucks against that.